Just when we thought we had some insight into Chris Drury and Peter Laviolette's plan, this changes everything. With a couple prospects knocking on the door of opportunity, the opening night lineup may look very different than what any of us could have imagined. Welcome back to Rangers Digest. We're going to break all of that down, but before we do, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 70% of you who watch our videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. So if you want to do yourself a favor, it's free. Hit that subscribe button and you get to stay up to date with everything New York Rangers. And that's right, the opening night lineup may look very different than what any of us could have imagined just a couple days ago or even a week ago, with some surprise performances and some injury trouble for the New York Rangers. We're going to break all of that down. Now, let's get right into it. The first thing I wanted to mention is, there was pretty much a nothing game last night against the New Jersey Devils, where both teams were not playing their NHLers, but, both teams wanted to see what they had in some of their younger guys. And the one thing I thought was really cool, and again, we'll just touch on this quickly and move on, is wearing letters last night for the New York Rangers is obviously a couple prospects here, and Adam Ernie, who looks like at this point may be released from his PTO coming up here shortly. I'm not sure he's done enough to earn his spot on a team. We've seen a lot of players around the league be released from their PTOs yesterday, but he was wearing a letter, and why I thought this was cool is because Adam Ernie grew up a New York Rangers fan, finally gets an opportunity here to play for the New York Rangers, even though it's not in a real NHL game, it's in preseason, but he got to wear a letter for his favorite team growing up, and by all statistics and advanced metrics was the best player on the ice for the New York Rangers last night. So I thought that was nice, a little feel-good story just to start the video. And again, it looks like he may at this point be cut from his PTO. We don't actually know for sure. I'm not sure personally if he's done enough to make the team, but again, that's just my personal thoughts. But it looks like he'll probably be let go, just because there's so many guys who are hungrier, I think, and younger that the Rangers trust because they've been in the organization. Now, to get into the interesting stuff, obviously, Jimmy Vesey down with injury. This happened just a couple days ago in practice, and it wasn't ideal. And this is from Vince. There wasn't a whole lot of takeaways from tonight's New York Rangers performance. And you know what? Before we move on, Peter Laviolette had some thoughts on last night's performance. He went on to say, the first period, I thought we played pretty good. We just made a couple big mistakes and let them behind for breakaways. Second period, I didn't think we were sharp at all. Third period, I thought we pressed the whole way and kept looking to get into the game. Finally got one on the board, but too little, too late. Now, not the greatest analysis here from Coach Peter Laviolette, but nonetheless, something to take away for certain guys, at least in yesterday's game. But again, not the most in-depth insight from Peter Laviolette on yesterday's game. But to move forward, yes, Jimmy Vesey injured. Now, I thought this was very interesting. It's unclear if it was a non-contact injury or if a teammate's stick got caught in Vesey's skate and caused him to fall. But either way, the Blue Shirts are left with a void on their fourth line and penalty kill. That is another big thing about this as well. Vesey is, he was penciled into the fourth line. He was probably going to make the team because he's been here and with that experience and a big part of the penalty kill as well. But that leaves a door of opportunity to be smashed through by some younger guys. We'll get to that in a second. That's what training camps about Laviolette said following Monday's practice. It's an open opportunity for guys to step up. I do think some guys have some good camps, and that's the evaluation process. We're still going on. We still have 3 preseason games left, and so those evaluations are still taking place. Still a lot of runway left, like Laviolette said in the preseason here. So no need to panic yet for certain guys. And obviously it looks like injuries to not only Vesey, but also Lindgren, which I'll touch on, could be a huge factor for the New York Rangers come opening night, because it looks like both those players are not going to be available, and thus somebody will have to replace them, and it's going to be a young talent. So the front runner to fill Vesey's spot on the roster is at this point Adam Edstrom, who's played fantastic this preseason. I said in a video yesterday he probably won't make the team, just because personally I think Matt Rempe, because he has more NHL experience, might make the team over him at this point. And really those guys are fighting for, if Vesey wasn't injured, or even with the injury, they're really only fighting for one spot in the lineup. If you look throughout the lineup, Will Cooley probably will make the team. He's been here, although I think Othman's look good as well. Filipino will probably make the team barring any injuries, right? But he looks like he's ready to go. So if you're looking at the bottom 6, it's almost set. So there's only a few moving parts. And now that there's an injury, it is very interesting to see who's going to take a hold of that last spot or two. And Edstrom has looked fantastic, honestly, and he was already pushing Matt Rempe for ice time, but now there's room for the Rangers to keep both of the towering rookies, and I think that is a fun prospect to have both of those gigantic players in the lineup, especially to start the year. So while the Rangers weigh how to fill those minutes, Edstrom, forward Brendan Othman, and defenseman Connor Mackey and Victor Mancini, who I'm glad Victor Mancini was brought up in this as well, because Victor Mancini has looked fantastic. And for being such a low round draft pick just a couple seasons ago, he's come in and really showed out in this preseason. He looks very good. He looks like he can actually make the team in part of Ryan Lindgren being injured, because he is currently practicing with Adam Fox on the top pairing, or the quote-unquote top pairing. Victor Mancini is. So there is, a possibility he starts the season with the Rangers. Now, will he stay here all year? Probably not. He's going to be sent down, and that's good for his development. Obviously, I think Zach Jones has been around longer. He deserves a spot as well. He's earned it. He will be in the lineup. But yeah, Mancini, and obviously Lindgren coming back. Forgot to mention that as well at some point in a couple weeks. But Victor Mancini has earned a spot if there is room for him with this injury. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, last night was very heavy on fringe NHLers and AHL types, but and not much to take away, honestly. But some of those guys like Mancini have looked quite good in this year's preseason. And again, Ryan Lindgren and Jimmy Vesey will probably not start the season with the New York Rangers. And there was a couple things to take away from last night's loss, including, a couple of those players who might make the team. And also Jonathan Quick, right? He didn't get into too much action to start training camp, right? And we didn't see him in games. We also didn't see him practicing right away, and then he joined the team after. So Jonathan Quick looks ready for the regular season, which is a good sign, because if he wasn't ready, then I would be a little bit concerned with the goaltending this year. Not obviously with the starter, but obviously what do you do with the backup? But Jonathan Quick looked fantastic last year. He was one of the best tandems in the league, and he looks poised and ready to go again this year. Playing in front of a team without any NHL regulars is tough for any goaltender, but while Quick was beaten twice in the first period and once early in the third, the 38-year-old appears ready to be, the backup to Igor Shesterkin, in a big year Igor Shesterkin is going to have. And obviously that contract is looming, so it's going to be very interesting to watch what happens this year. But let me know in the comments what you think of the New York Rangers opening night lineup. Who is in your opening night lineup? For me, I really like the way Othman's been playing. I'm a big fan of Matt Rempe and the work that he's put in this offseason, but Edstrom has surprised as well. And with VC out, there may be room for both of those players to be in the lineup, and I think that's very exciting for New York Rangers fans, because they need the physicality going into the playoffs. That's something we talked about as well. And Rempe, if he can be trusted in different defensive situations, even offensively now at this point, because he's been working on it, sky's the limit for him. Obviously, we know what he can do physically, and of course Edstrom too. He's a great player and showing it right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens the next couple of days, but it looks like there is one more empty spot for somebody to take a hold of that opportunity, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Lots of healthy competition going on right now at Rangers camp. It's going to be fun. And will Victor Mancini make the team? I think he's been a pleasant surprise. We'll see. Let me know in the comments what you think the opening night lineup will look like. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.